church shootings, and anti-Semitism. Happy New Year! Have you noticed the deafening silence coming from the mainstream media, otherwise known as the left propaganda machine, regarding the anti-Semitism which has taken place over the Christmas and New Year's holiday? Now, they give the initial report of what happened, whether it's a stabbing of individuals celebrating Hanukkah, a menorah toppled, an attack on a synagogue, a place of Jewish worship. It makes an immediate splash in the headlines, and then it just disappears. And the reason it has to disappear, even with people like Ilhan Omar of the Squad trying to blame it on Donald Trump, that his hatred, his rhetoric fuels this hate-driven terrorism. And of course, Governor Cuomo wants it called an act of terrorism, and then he disappears on the subject. Well, the reason they have to be quiet, the reason they can't really follow up on it, who is it that's really anti-Semitic? It's the left. It's the Squad. It's the Ilhan Omars, the AOCs. They're the ones that will accept Palestinian invitations to go and visit the Middle East, but will reject an invitation to go with congressmen from the United States at the invitation of Israel. Now, they can't do that, but they will go over for one of the numerous organizations and terror groups that wants to annihilate Israel. And these are the kind of individuals the political left, the Democratic Party, propagates, promotes, associates with, elects. And then they have the audacity to say the problem is Donald Trump. Now, of course, we have another shooting. The shooting in the state of Texas, and right away, though, the mainstream media wants to jump on this ad nauseum, and of course, here it comes. The guns have got to go.
It is a scene no child should ever bear witness. Tragedy shattering a peaceful Sunday morning service.
Today, evil walked boldly among us. But let me remind you, good people raised up and stopped it before it got worse.
Video shows that it was 10:50 Sunday morning when the shooter entered the church.
I mean, the shooter was sitting next to my mother. She knew from growing up at the church that she didn't recognize this gentleman.
Over 200 parishioners were in attendance, including 71-year-old Jack Wilson, a reserve deputy sheriff.
We noticed that his right hand was visible, but his left hand never was visible. So I'm assuming at this point that the shotgun was in his pocket with all the way up under his armpit, and he's holding it in place with his left hand.
In the video, you see the gunman there wearing a dark hoodie sitting in the back pew. He then gets up, walks to the back, and appears to say something to a deacon, and then pulls out a long gun, aims, and begins to shoot. The attack lasting just 6 seconds.
That's a long 6 seconds. And a lot of things go down in 6 seconds.
Wilson, who is in charge of church security, pulls out his own gun, fires a single shot, and kills the gunman before he could harm anyone else. At least 5 other parishioners pulled out handguns and carefully approached the gunman. Toward the back of the church, one man kicks away the suspect's gun and picks it up. All of it happening as parishioners duck in the pews and children run for safety.
We're going to need help with patient care.
It was a sad thing that he had to come into the congregation and hurt people, and it's a sad thing that we had to hurt him.
Authorities and parishioners now praising Wilson's split-second decision to intervene.
I don't feel like I'm a hero. I was doing what I needed to do to protect the people of the congregation.
Here's a hardcore truth, an actual reality that the political left needs to get a grip on. Evil exists. I know they don't want to acknowledge that. All people are basically good, and it's just you're a product of your environment. Oh, evil exists. There are evil, rotten individuals that do evil, rotten things. Evil exists. And saying the best way to handle this is to disarm the citizens, to limit the rights of citizens even more, where they can and can't use a firearm, is another step in that fascist, socialist, Nazi, communistic regime idea and mentality of disarm the citizen. Let's create a situation. Let's create a panic point. Let's raise a red flag, and then let's make sure that in raising it, we are able to gin up enough fear that people are willing to surrender their rights for the false sense of safety and security. The government does this over and over and over, and people, like sheep to the slaughter, like lemmings, continue to forfeit their rights accordingly. But in a state like Texas, there's a little quandary. People there probably going to shoot back. I have said for years, and when I was a school administrator, I had staff members who had conceal and carry. Our teachers were armed. We didn't have any school shootings where I was administrator. We had safety precautions. We had a signing in and out system for parents to come and get their children. We had portions of the facility on lockdown. We had locked fences and gates. But we weren't trying to create a prison mentality. But we did understand full well that schools seemingly are easy pickings for evil individuals. Funny thing, they don't like to go places where they might get shot back at. So our teachers were armed, and we had no incidents. I had a great working relationship with the sheriff of our county. He liked what we did, and he told me on more than one occasion, it's good you're doing this. Otherwise, you can call the police and try to hide and wait for us to get there so that we can draw a chalk outline around your body. You know, I want to share a little piece of wisdom, a little piece of logic for those of you on the left side of this argument watching this video. If I were to say something as stupid as, I don't need smoke detectors, that's what the fire department's for, you would say, that's stupid. That's dumb. And it is stupid. It is dumb. It's just as dumb to say, citizens do not need to be armed, we can call the police. And they can arrive in time to draw a chalk outline around your dead body. So going forward in the new year, I'm just going to say that I am disarmed. After all, if Bruce Jenner, now known as Caitlyn, can keep his male genitalia, yet call himself female, I can keep my guns and call myself disarmed. Just a quick rant to welcome in the brand new year 2020, and oh, what a year it's going to be. The president being vindicated on this impeachment hoax and his re-election. Trump, 2020 and beyond. Hey, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, make sure you smack the bell for notification of my next rant. Make sure you're a subscriber to the channel, spread the word, and come visit me on BitTube.